Hello and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Beam City Sports on 96.5 FM, KUBU Radio. This is Tyler Texeira here again with fellow co-host Luke Mitchell. And how was the week off you had, Luke?
Pretty beautiful. Nice sunny week on the beach. Got to lay out, listen to you guys last week. I was kind of missing it. I was a little jealous. But glad to be back in the studio.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you back, man. You missed a lot, though, on the last week. You know, we've seen a lot of NBA news. We've seen a lot of Olympics, some baseball news, and we're going to get into all that today. Our topics that we're going over today is going to be USA versus South Sudan, USA's game versus Germany, the Olympics starting up here on Friday, some NBA news, and we're going to talk some Sacramento A's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's jump right into it. USA had a game against South Sudan the other day, and they ended up winning it by 1 point, 101-100, and this was a very crazy game.
Obviously, Sudan coming in as 46.5-point underdogs, pretty much.
Yeah, 43.5-point underdogs
43.5.
going into this game with South Sudan. Pretty crazy that they made it such a good game.
Oh, yeah, and then obviously seeing all the players that we saw, 5-6 years ago in the league that were kind of role players, seeing them on South Sudan now. I just was surprised with, how well of a team ball they played. Just kind of pacing everything whenever, USA was kind of slowing down. They took advantage, set up a play, and just found the hole in the gap pretty much.
Yeah, South Sudan actually led this game for 23 minutes of this game. So that is crazy. And something else about South Sudan is they do not even have an indoor gym to practice in. They had to go to multiple other countries just to get some practice in. So they were playing out there with all heart, all pretty much chemistry, and it really showed against this Team USA team that hasn't had too much practice time, doesn't have too much chemistry yet, and South Sudan really came to play.
Yep. Just the notable players that are on Sudan that kind of just put to work to all these vets that are in the league, all the superstars that we expected to come in and dominate, Wenyan Gabriel, and then also Luol Deng also. We haven't seen Luol Deng in the league in how many years?
Yeah,
and then
so
he comes
many.
in and kind of puts work on LeBron, clamps him up for a little bit. Not the whole game, but the first half, just USA was kind of stunned. One for 14 on three, 2 for 14 on three, I think.
Yeah, they started out very slow. Nobody on USA besides LeBron really had it going. And we're going to give some light to these guys on South Sudan. Carlick Jones ended up having a triple-double. That was the point guard. And he is playing for the G League Bulls right now. And 2 years ago, he was actually the G League MVP. So hearing a lot of buzz around his name, some NBA teams looking for a backup point guard. And, he really showed out in that game.
Definitely. I heard, both the announcers were talking. There's this guy's probably found a spot in the league after this game, or just after this Olympics. And I don't know how much he was looked at in the G League, but showing this much tenacity in the Olympics, just playing all your heart out, kind of shows that he's ready to take that next step with the Bulls, hopefully. It would be cool to see them kind of develop someone.
Yeah, they need some young talent, of course, yeah. Carlick Jones, he's a smaller point guard, but he was just getting to the rim at ease in that game. He was attacking every big on USA. It didn't matter if it was Embiid, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo. Yep. He was going right to the hoop. Yep. Also, he was ISOing on Jason Tatum, LeBron James. Just some crazy mid-range pull-ups from him, and he really kept them in the game all game.
Definitely. I feel like Sudan was kind of relying on a whole lot of, just running plays and trying to get the U.S., just off guard when they couldn't get set on defense. They kind of relied on a bunch of pick and rolls up top and then big man kind of running down. And then Carlick Jones, just if he didn't have that pass down low, he popped up on a quick mid-range or kicked it out for a three. They were hitting all of their threes.
They were lighting it up.
Yeah.
And, Carlick Jones also had over 10 rebounds as a smaller guard, so he was really just playing his heart out there. And, also another NBA player that really showed out was JT Thor, 6'10 lefty, plays on Charlotte right now, not getting many minutes, but man, did he make an impact.
Dude was putting work on AD. Dunked on him twice, I think. There was one crazy putback dunk in the third quarter where he just came from the top of the three-point line and he jumped right over AD, put it right in on his head.
Yeah, and that's just all heart and hustle right there, and that's something that Team USA doesn't seem to have too much of right now, and it's all these other countries don't have the talent, of course, the USA has, but they come in and they play their hearts out, and they just make things happen. But we'll go over the first half. Team USA really was struggling on offense, which is crazy to say with all these star players that are so good offensively in the NBA. To struggle on offense against South Sudan.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, us as watchers didn't really expect them to be coming out this much, and then they were up by almost 20, I think, in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And then I mean, the U.S. obviously didn't expect them to be coming out this fast pace, and like kind of sinking all of their shots. So I think they were definitely caught on their heels a little bit, trying to hustle back on defense every time. They needed to keep that pace up the whole. I noticed that they were kind of playing slow at first, and then Sudan kind of just took advantage of it. They were trying to get set up on defense, just run. I mean, that's the thing I keep going back to.
Yeah.
As long as Sudan was able to set up their offense and get the people in the right spots on the court, they were able to find the right pass and make it super quick.
Yeah, that's very true. And seems like Team USA is best when, they're getting out in transition. And LeBron obviously is, I would say, the best player in transition of all time. He's so strong and nobody can really stop him when he's in the open floor. He's also still so fast at 40 years old.
I hate to agree with you. I want to try and argue with this, but I mean, I don't really see anybody else on the U.S. putting that kind of energy towards it. Obviously, everybody else is kind of. I mean, Anthony Edwards was trying to do that a few games ago, but then he just kind of went quiet. He never really kind of took that next step. But LeBron just, I mean, doing what he's always done ever since the early 2000s. He just comes out and dominates with his size and his IQ.
Yeah, you're completely right. He is dominating with his IQ more than anything, it seems like. And these guys on Team USA they need to follow. LeBron is really the tone setter of this team. And, a lot of people didn't think that coming in. Like you even said a few weeks ago that Jason Tatum might be a better player to start in that role. But it's really proven that LeBron is the engine that is running this Team USA.
Exactly.
But, yeah, in the first half, like you said, South Sudan was really lighting it up from three. It felt like they couldn't miss. They were banking in threes. Wenyan Gabriel was hitting contested threes. And there was nothing USA could really do. But Steve Kerr, I really don't like the rotations that Steve Kerr is doing.
Yeah, 5 in, 5 out, like NBA, like even the NBA, like nobody does that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't treat this like a random like game. I don't know. There's as something you sent me earlier today or yesterday. There were 12 NBA players that like the Dream Team played.
Yeah.
And then now there's 63 NBA players that are in like global games against the U.S.
Yeah. So the Dream Team only had to play against 9 NBA players, and this USA team is going to have to play against 61 NBA players. So the world is really catching up to U.S. and we're kind of happy that they got the Avengers for USA out there, all the big names, because if they didn't, they would. I don't think they would stand a chance.
Nah, yeah, definitely not. There are a couple of people on the team that I could see being replaced with people that I wanted personally on the team. We'll get into that later though, but there's a couple of slow people who don't seem like they want to be out there right now. They don't seem like they want to really be representing the U.S.
They're not playing like they have the U.S. on the front of their jersey. Mm-hmm. They're only playing for the name on the back, and a lot of these guys are doing that. But like you said, Steve Kerr with the 5 in, 5 out rotations, like it's an AAU game, and you can't do that. I think you need to develop more chemistry, especially with the star players. Like I think you need to let LeBron and AD play together more. Mm-hmm. They have the chemistry from playing in LA so many years together, and I don't think they've gotten more than 2 minutes together on the floor.
No. I mean, with AD being part of that second squad, LeBron playing with Embiid pretty much the whole time, it's super lackluster.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not going to place 2 people who play game in, game out on the other side of the world, not together on the team that they have pretty much dominated the whole league with?
Yeah. And South Sudan really noticed that they were undersized against Team USA, especially when Team USA had that bench unit out there of AD and Bam playing together. Also, they would double Embiid every time he got it in the post. And it caused so many turnovers for Team USA. And you would think if they're doubling the post, these NBA players can, swing the ball, find the open man, because somebody's going to be open.
Somebody's going to be open.
But it was just causing multiple turnovers because of the length of South Sudan, not the height, but the length. They all have long arms. They're athletic. They're fast, and they want to win.
Quick reach, so they're able to poke the ball anywhere. Yeah. Just make that kind of disruption in any pass or shot. Like, they didn't have to block it. They didn't have to do anything. They just had their body in the right spot.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different rules compared to the NBA and Olympic basketball.
It's really affecting USA, it seems.
No 3-second violation.
Yeah.
Key, so people can stay down there as long as they want. They can put 2 centers down there and just block the rim the whole time. But then that should allow the U.S. to have 1 or 2 shooters open on the outside And they shot a lot of threes. They only shot 1 from 11 starting
Yeah,
from 3.
they started at 1 for 11 in the first half, and Curry was the only one to get one to fall.
Exactly.
And it felt like they were kind of forcing it.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys.
And then also the 3-point line is a whole foot closer.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's throwing them off because they're putting too much power on it, or if it should make it easier for them.
Yeah, it does give a team like South Sudan kind of a benefit having the 3-point line a little smaller, because if they do double the bigs, it's easier to recover on that 3-point line compared to the NBA being a few feet back where it's harder to, get back out to your guy in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we said, USA was down by 14 at the half against South Sudan, and Steve Kerr had to make an adjustment. He came in the second half with the bench starting lineup. It was Derek White, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Edwards. And those guys, they gave a run. They got the U.S. a little bit back in it, but it really was the star power that took them over the top.
Yeah, I will say I feel like they just had that a little bit more of a excitement, so it kind of hyped the U.S. basketball team up. Anthony Davis threw down a couple exciting dunks in that third quarter.
Some big blocks.
And then a couple of blocks. So I feel like that brought back the energy for the team, and then the star players came back out and kind of took handle of it.
Yeah. Some guys that I feel like are not playing very well in this USA system, just because it seems like they're not used to, not being the number one guy on their team, is Devin Booker, who's really struggled shooting the ball. He's making an impact defensively, but he's also getting scored on a lot. People are attacking him. Jason Tatum, like we said, has been forcing things a lot. He's not shooting the ball well at all. And Anthony Edwards, he's getting buckets out there. He's scoring, but he's not swinging the ball as much as some of these other guys. He's kind of a ball stopper.
Yeah, exactly. I can see he wants to run an ISO game a lot. Anthony Edwards, he wants to get down in the paint, kind of pop that mid-range, or try and just find a hole and get to the rim really quick. I feel like he needs to be more of a pass-first guy on this team. He wanted to be the lead scorer. He wanted to be the number one option. I think he is more of almost a decoy damn near, so then he could kick the ball out really quick and find LeBron on the outside, or Curry, who's been starting to heat up, hopefully.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards just needs to, like you said, drive and kick and find the open guy. It doesn't have to be a one-man show. Like, you have so many great players on your team. I think you need to learn how to swing the ball. And, it's really shown, because Steve Kerr is playing guys like Drew Holiday, who is making a lot of things happen. He's playing very well offensively as well. And like we said coming in, we weren't very happy to see him in the starting lineup, but it's been a blessing in disguise. He's really been playing very well. Also, guys like Derek White. He's not scoring the ball at all, but he's making every right play. He's being unselfish, swinging the ball, guarding one of the best guards on the other team, and just making things happen.
Yeah. You can tell he knows his role in the team. He's a last-minute pickup, and he kind of found his role immediately, just coming in and filling in that one spot. Yeah.
And so the end of this game, it really came down to the wire. And South Sudan took the lead with under a minute left. JT Thor hit a step-back three in the corner for the 1-point lead. And then LeBron, it looked like Team USA had a play run for Curry on the other side of the court, and South Sudan was on it. They didn't give Curry any open space. They didn't let the roller go to the hoop. So it was LeBron ISO game, one-on-one, and he took it to the hoop and took USA to the victory.
It's really just a dog-eat-dog right there. It's just who's going to be bigger, who's going to be stronger. So, LeBron, obviously, one of the most clutch players of our generation.
Happy to hear you say that.
The most clutch.
Yeah. A lot of people might think he's not clutch, but he's had so many moments over these years of proving that he is built for this moment.
Almost 2 decades.
2 decades.
2 decades. Clutch.
Yeah. And so he finished with 25 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. And, that bench unit, like we said, they did make a good impact. But in this game, everyone off the bench for Team USA was a negative in the plus-minus.
Yeah, you got to expect that with the first half being such a blowout. And then having to rely on the starters in the second half. There's no way your bench is really going to be doing much besides getting some rest in there and making a couple defensive stops. Yeah. And our guy Tyrese Halliburton didn't play very many minutes in this game, and it even showed in the next game like we're about to get into. USA just played yesterday against Germany. Close victory again, 92-88. They came out with their same starting lineup from the very first game. It was Steph Curry, Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid. And I don't know how much I love this starting lineup. It's a little wonky. It's
I think Drew Holiday needs to start.
Drew Holiday needs to start. We need that defensive front at the start. I don't think we can't score, especially against a team like Germany. they're just as experienced as all these people on the U.S. team over in like the EuroLeague, and then Dennis Schroeder being an amazing guard in the NBA, he can lead a team like that and kind of direct them, just like he knows his competition, he knows how to handle them. And then Franz Wagner, a very young, good shooter, who's very trustworthy. And then the old vet that they have, he's just locking up LeBron all the time on the outside. I mean, obviously LeBron's going to beat him most of the time, like a little bit quicker, a little bit faster with the hands. But Germany it's more of a powerhouse team that won FIBA last year. So I feel like this game was more kind of expected to be this way.
Yeah, and Germany, like you said, has a ton of guys. They just move the ball and they drive and kick, and they're so unselfish. They always find the open guy, and they have a lot of scoring options out there. Like you said, Franz Wagner just got paid over $200 million in the NBA for the Orlando Magic. His brother Mo was balling out there. Like you said, Dennis Schroeder had over 10 assists, and he struggled shooting the ball. So if Dennis Schroeder was shooting the ball like we know he can, especially in these Olympics, Team USA probably would have lost that game.
It's going to be a different game.
Yeah.
Way different game.
Yeah. But like the USA team, I think Anthony Davis and Bam Adebayo have looked very well together, and that is some sort of a bright spot for this team.
Yeah,
playing those two bigs.
I mean, obviously both can go either way, power forward or center. Bam's gonna be a little bit smaller, so he doesn't have like as much size. I know there's a lot of big guys in Europe that can kind of handle him sometimes down low, but then having them switch back and forth, Bam being kind of fast, he could get down low super quick and make that space between him and AD. And I think that really helps a lot, especially bringing back that 3 second, no 3 second violation. They can just protect and
on defense. They're blocking a ton of shots.
Yeah.
We've seen a ton of highlight reel plays from AD, Embiid, Bam on the defensive end. But our guy Tyrese Halliburton, this was the first game where he played 0 minutes, and he was the only person on Team USA to not get any minutes this game.
I don't like the disrespect.
They don't trust him on the defensive end. He's not shooting the ball great, even though he did hit some clutch shots a few games ago in a close game. But he went from playing 20 minutes in their first game against Canada to 15 against Serbia to 7 against South Sudan, and then 0 minutes against Germany. So he's really fallen out of the rotation, and Derek White has just taken his spot off the bench.
Yeah. Defensively, kind of Derek White has that edge on him. I don't think he can shoot as well, obviously. I mean, we don't really need that much shooting with everybody else on the team. So I can see why he's losing minutes, but I don't see any reason for him to go down to 0 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like...
It's going to be tougher because, we have the USA leading scorer of all time coming back, hopefully on Friday when the Olympics start. Kevin Durant will be coming back. And do you think he's going to take Devin Booker's spot in the starting lineup? Immediately.
I think he should take. I don't see why Booker is starting at all.
Yeah.
I put Derek White out there before Booker. Booker's kind of been looking a little lost, just like running around. He kind of clogs up the paint a lot.
He does.
When there's a lot of drives going down and they're relying on AD to get a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
The Booker kind of gets in the way and AD can't get down to the hoop. And then he's just like, he's not being involved in a lot of the plays. They're not writing anything up for him. He's kind of just being a decoy in the corner, having his hands ready.
He's just ready to shoot, and he's not really getting the touches like he's used to.
Yeah, and then when he is shooting, he's not making them.
Yeah.
He's not hitting them, and he's wide open a lot of the times.
Yeah, I know. You're completely right. So Kevin Durant is most likely going to take Devin Booker's spot, and Joel Embiid, Steve Kerr has said Joel will stay in the starting lineup. He has played very well the last few games. I still do think he forces it at times, and he tries to get these NBA rules in FIBA with the flopping. It's just not working, and it's kind of making him look like less of a player.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's kind of just waiting for that gimme stuff. So then it's just like, okay, I can just make it up at the line, or just have a quick bucket down low. He's not translating his game well enough into the Olympics. I do think AD should take his starting spot for sure.
I think they would play a lot better like that.
Yeah.
The defense, the quickness, LeBron and AD
and then
pick
the
and roll.
chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, they need that chemistry right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, they're all friends. They all get along together. But playing together, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's very true. And without LeBron, like we've said, he scored the last 11 points for Team USA against Germany when they were losing in the fourth quarter, and he just keeps putting this team on his back. we keep thinking guys like, Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Joel Embiid are going to, help LeBron out in these clutch situations. And they're not. He's not getting any help in the clutch.
I'm not expecting anything less from him. He has been doing it his whole career. And I don't think he's going to change now, especially if nobody else is stepping up. He's just going to do it no matter what, without question.
He's still adding on to his resume as maybe the best player of all time or number 2. But we will move on. The basketball Olympics will officially begin on the 27th, so that is this Saturday, and the actual Olympics start on Friday morning, that is June 26th. And let's stay on basketball just for a second. The FIBA rankings for the top 5 teams going into this tournament are Team USA number 1, who went 5-0 in their exhibition games. Then we have Spain, who has the Hernan Gomez brothers, and that is Bo Cruz from the movie Hustle, if you didn't know that, the one with Adam Sandler. And those two guys just ball out in the Olympics. They really put on for their country. An NBA player, Santi Aldama, who is a 7-footer who can shoot the ball, and he's averaging the most points on their team right now. So look out for Spain. They also have Rudy Fernandez still, who is 39 years old.
Yeah, seeing him kicking in the league, or in the Olympics, it's cool. Like, I mean, I remember watching him play against DeMarcus Cousins like not too long ago.
Yeah,
it's just like,
and he was one of those guys against the Redeem team that really lit it up, and was cooking Kobe, was cooking like KD back in the day.
Yeah.
So he's built for these moments. And then we have the team that we just faced, Germany, who is a powerhouse, like we just said. If Dennis Schroeder shoots the ball any better, who knows what happens in that game?
I have a feeling Germany's our biggest threat.
Germany,
besides, I mean, Spain, is strong. I don't think they're really a big threat for us. I think it's Germany and Canada that will probably give us a problem.
Yeah,
in the long stretch.
And so number 3 ranked is Germany. Number 4 ranked is Serbia. That is with Nikola Jokic. They don't have too many other guys. They also have our guy Bogi Bogdanovic, old Sacramento King. And then number 5 is Australia with Josh Giddey, Patty Mills, Dyson Daniels, guys like that. So Canada's not ranked in the top 5. And I think they're number 2 or 3 in the best teams.
I'd take Serbia out of that list and put Canada up at like 3, move Spain down to 4, I think, and Canada are 2 and 3, I feel like.
Yeah, also no France and no Greece. So no Giannis, no Victor and Rudy in these rankings. So there's a lot of teams to watch out for.
A lot of teams to watch out for. I do believe that U.S. should handle most of those games. I mean, I'm saying that now after watching these 2 games. They're struggling. Yeah, it's a little tough. Not having Canada in the top, I was a little appalled by that. Having Jamal Murray, who's one of the best scoring.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, almost MVP last year.
And then Dylan Brooks, who not everybody likes, but he is a menace on defense. He can make stuff happen. And then RJ Barrett as well. They have a full squad of starting NBA stars.
They do.
Could actually make stuff happen.
Yeah, they definitely should be in that top 5 ranking. It's crazy to see Spain ranked number 2, and that is the only team in the top 5 that U.S. hasn't seen. So it'll be interesting to see them face off eventually.
Yeah.
Some more news on the Olympics. LeBron James is officially the first men's USA basketball player that will carry a flag in the Olympics. He is the flag bearer, and that was announced Monday morning. He's actually the 3rd basketball player of all time, and he is the first men's. So the other 2 were Don Stanley in 2004 and Sue Bird in the Tokyo Games. So really crazy to see LeBron, get that respect from, all his peers in the U.S.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh, who else would it be? Like, no other athletes are like that. I mean, at first I was just like, okay, yeah, it should be LeBron. But then think about all these Olympic stars that are playing, like Sha'Carri Richardson, the sprinter. Sorry to be skipping off basketball, but I think I wanted her to be the flag bearer. It's her first Olympics, and she's been trying for almost 8 years now, trying to get into it. So I'm excited about that. And then, but yeah, it is cool to see LeBron carrying the flag.
Yeah,
it'll be it's hype for the NBA too.
He did announce that it is his last Olympics ever. So, I feel like that is also a reason why.
Might make sense.
Some people also wanted Kevin Durant just because he's the all-time leading scorer, but him not playing in any of these games, I don't know if that would have fit right, going into the Olympics.
Also, all-time leading scorer for U.S. basketball, not necessarily Olympics basketball.
U.S., yeah.
But I think LeBron is definitely deserving of this for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And last topic before we go to our first break in about 2 minutes. I wanted to know, what are your favorite events, outside of basketball in these Summer Olympics? There's a lot of crazy things going on.
Hands down, probably track and field. Like, there's just so much excitement going in. Like, 100-meter dash, it's 9 seconds long with how fast these people are. And it's just quiet, and then bam, out of nowhere, out the gates, and it's excitement just for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then right behind that, beach volleyball. Like, ever since I was a kid, I loved watching beach volleyball. I've never been good at it, never really tried it, but beach volleyball is definitely top of the list for me.
Definitely fun to watch. Also, some other ones. Tennis, I really love watching. Swimming, Michael Phelps has really put on for the U.S. All these years that I remember watching, so that's always been exciting.
The number one athlete of all time, pretty much. Yeah, out of 100.
So
then race walking. I want speed walking. Yes.
Speed walking would be a good one. But we also have golf, boxing, surfing, and soccer, which you're really excited for. There's some crazy groups this year.
It's kind of a weird Olympic group, but if this U.S. team can do anything, it's going to be kind of an underdog story. There's not a whole lot of star players that we have on the World Cup team recently. Obviously, we didn't do as well as we did in the World Cup, but if we do anything with this team in the Olympics, it'll definitely be very exciting.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to tune into all the U.S. games and every other event. One that I mentioned that I'm really excited for is surfing, though. I think that'll be really cool to see.
That'd be interesting, especially since, they're in France, so they're going to have to travel to, I think it's a France province, like, down, I'm not entirely sure, but it's just going to be weird with, having surf completely multiple countries away from the host country. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that is crazy. But all right, we will be back in about 3 minutes. Thank you for listening to KUBU. All right. And we are back on Beam City Sports 96.5 FM, KUBU Radio. This is Tyler Texeira here with my co-host Luke Mitchell. And we're going to jump into some NBA news that's been happening recently. While you were gone, Russell Westbrook actually ended up joining the Denver Nuggets in a sign and trade sort of thing. So Westbrook was traded to the Utah Jazz from the LA Clippers for young guard Chris Dunn, and then the Jazz released him, which they've done before. The Utah
Second
Jazz
time in 18 months.
So the Utah Jazz really just don't want anything to do with Russell Westbrook.
They don't want Westbrook. I don't think the city wants to do anything with Westbrook.
And then
people out there.
You're right. And then, so then Denver, a winning team, picks up Russell Westbrook. And what's your thoughts on this move?
I personally love it.
Yeah.
Me as a big Westbrook fan ever since OKC days when he was a rookie, I love it for him. I think he's going to find a good role in there. I think it'll be something great for his mental too, because I know he's been getting a lot of hate for the past few years. But for us, I do not. For the Kings, I'm not a fan of it because it just makes them a little bit more scarier. It
does. And, Denver has a lot of holes right now, losing their starting shooting guard of the championship team, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, who was, their point of attack defender and their spot-up shooter. So they kind of have a hole in that starting shooting guard spot right now.
Yeah. Westbrook definitely doesn't add that shooting aspect to it. So when he's on the court, they're definitely going to have to play him around other shooters. They're not going to really be able to have, like, Aaron Gordon on the court with him. Just because they're both rim attackers and just down low. So they're just going to have a specific scheme for him just so then he could drive the ball and then kick it out whenever is possible.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see if he will end up starting for this Denver Nuggets team. I do see him as more of a bench piece in them starting, kind of a young guy, like you said, that can space the floor a little more, like Christian Brown, who's looked pretty impressive these last 2 years.
Definitely. And then obviously Jamal Murray's still on the team, so I don't know. I don't think I think he'll be a good sixth man coming off the bench, but maybe he'll start 10 games, 12 games, just like have that fill-in role. Maybe he'll do better with a certain squad than another squad is on the court.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I think Russell's going to be a really good fit with them.
Yeah, you really always have been one of the biggest Westbrook supporters since his OKC days, then his Wizards days, and then, everywhere he's been after that.
8 teams now? Six to 8 teams?
But Yeah, like you said, I think he's still a great defender. It's not that he just tries harder than everyone else out there. And like you said, he is struggling shooting the ball.
He's got the biggest heart in the league.
Yeah, he does.
I think he's got the biggest heart in the league.
He does, and it's going to hurt the Clippers losing him because he's also somebody that plays every game. He doesn't miss games. He never gets hurt.
Yeah.
And Denver needs someone like that with some energy off the bench. So that's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I don't know how much the Clippers will be hurt because they did add Chris Dunn, who is he's a pretty young, good guard who has a lot of potential coming in. I think they'll help him out. I think he'll help him out like a bit, like maybe a little bit more than Westbrook. I think he fits better in the team. Westbrook last year he played around 70 games, only 11 points per game. His shooting was super shaky, maybe 4 assists and 5 rebounds. Like not what you expect from someone who averaged a triple-double for almost 3 years in a row.
Former MVP.
Yeah. You expect them to come off the bench and have a little bit more of, an effect on numbers.
Yeah. I do think, like you said, the numbers aren't there, but the energy will always be there.
Yes.
And that's something Denver will love to have.
Obviously, there are missing stats that don't get shown, so he definitely does help on that side.
Yeah. So watch out for Denver. I do think they are weaker than they have been in the last few years.
And then one thing to say also, 2 of the 4 leading players in triple-double history are now on the same team.
That's
Westbrook
crazy.
and Jokic.
Wow. So 2 of the 4 all-time triple-double leaders
are on the team.
So yeah, a lot of big stats
That's
coming their way.
Almost 300 career triple-doubles between the 2 of them.
Wow. And also 2 former MVPs. Westbrook has played with a ton of great players now. Some of those guys that come to mind are Kevin Durant, obviously, James Harden, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George.
There's too many.
Now Jokic. Yeah, there's too many to name. But we'll move on to, some Sacramento Kings news, our hometown team. They just signed this morning free agent center Orlando Robinson, who is a young, athletic big man. He is 6'10", and he was going crazy in the G League just a week ago.
Yeah, the whole Summer League G League. The full last season of the G League, he averaged 23 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. That's just he played 2 years in the G League. That was his second year. He's only 22.
He's still very young.
Super young.
Very young.
Coming in off the bench, I think it'll be at least a bit of a help for sure.
Yeah, that really could be a diamond in the rough for this Kings team, looking for some athleticism and some depth at that big man position. A lot of guys have been pushing for somebody like Drew Timme, who was on the Kings Summer League team, but I think this is a better move.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think he's a bit more NBA capable. Drew Timme, great college player, played all 4 years at Gonzaga. Shout out Gonzaga. But I don't think he can translate really into the NBA. He's a little bit too slow, a little heavy set. Obviously, heavy set players can dominate in the league, but with his body type, he's not as tall as a lot of the centers that are that big. So I don't think he would really be as good as a signing as Orlando Robinson is. Yeah,
I think Drew Timme would thrive in, a situation that is built around him like it was at Gonzaga where, he can post up more and he can control the offense, but that's not at all what the Kings are looking for. No. We already have our big man that's going to run the show, and that's Sabonis, and we just need some guys off the bench to, protect the rim.
Yep.
And if Alex Len, isn't playing to how we know Alex Len can play, I think Orlando Robinson can come in with some young energy and, spark these guys if they need it.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah, so Sacramento Kings making big moves, and also the LA Lakers have added the Stockton Kings G League Coach of the Year, Lindsey Harding, who I actually got a chance to talk to in their first game last year against the Santa Cruz Warriors, and she's super knowledgeable, and she was a great coach. She actually won the Coach of the Year, like I said, last year for the G League, and she's joining JJ Redick's staff here in LA.
Very exciting. Obviously, another great coach that was taken off of our coaching staff.
Yep.
Seeing Jordy Fernandez leave for the Nets last year, it hurt, but great for him getting that head coaching job. But with this, I kind of wanted her to come up to the league and be our assistant coach. I don't think she doesn't deserve it, or LA doesn't deserve her. We deserve her.
Yeah, she's going to the big stage in LA, going to be an assistant coach with new head coach JJ Redick, and she's rejoining JJ Redick because she was on the 76ers staff when JJ was a player there. Also went to Duke when JJ Redick was a huge star there. So
obviously makes sense.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
it does. And JJ probably knows how knowledgeable she is about the game and how great she did in her time in the G League. So it's crazy to see.
Best record last year in the G League.
Yeah.
And then Coach of the Year in G League.
And they knocked out the Santa Cruz Warriors last year in the G League.
There you go.
So
unfortunately couldn't get it done in the finals, though.
Yeah.
So,
Lakers making big moves on the coaching end, still looking for something on the player end on their moves. They don't have too many guys to support LeBron and AD right now.
Don't really have a whole lot of targets, really, that I'm looking at. Everybody's getting signed up. They don't really have a lot of trade pieces to give. So I don't know if LA is going to get any better this year.
Yeah, and staying on somewhat Sacramento Kings news, we didn't get to mention Mike Brown got an extension of 3 years, and I was going to wonder if you think this is the right move for Sacramento.
I think it's the only move that we should have made with the coaching. He came in a few years ago, and turned the team around immediately. If anybody, I've seen some hate with people who are questioning his style and everything. They're like, if he's not back in the playoffs next year, we got to get rid of him. It's like, we have given him 3 or 4 years so far. It takes a little bit longer than that to get a poverty franchise from the dump back into the success of the playoffs. He's definitely the right coach that we need.
Yeah, he really just changed the whole culture here in Sacramento, and that's a big reason that DeMar DeRozan ended up coming here. Mm-hmm. He saw Coach Brown running the sprints with his team and, doing all this stuff with his team. And, just DeMar DeRozan has raved about Mike Brown being a huge part of why he came to Sacramento. Yeah. And, a lot of people have kind of hated on Mike Brown after last year with his rotations and substitutions not being the best after that first year where it was stellar. It seemed like he was making every right move. Kings couldn't do anything wrong. And last year, it was kind of the opposite.
I will say injuries definitely had a bug to play with last year, with losing Kevin and then Malik later in the season. They had to switch from a very quick, kind of attack and shoot playing style to a more of a kind of a slowed down attack to mainly a defensive role, because our defense shot from in the mid-20s in the league all the way up to a top 10. 12 or top 10 in the league.
When we started Keon.
That's when we started Keon. That's when Kevin Huerter got hurt. We didn't have that shooter. Also when he started to be very inconsistent. So I won't put that all on Mike Brown, with him changing it up. That's just a circumstantial kind of thing right there.
Yeah. So I'm happy about the Mike Brown move. I think, like we said, he changed the culture here. And I think he's ready for a big year next year. I think he's disappointed with how they finished off the year last year, even though, like you said, there was a ton of injuries. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to have his guys ready this year, and I'm excited for these next 3 years.
The whole team is definitely in a different mindset right now, where they need to come back. They were third seed, or was it third seed or second seed? They need to be back up there. They can't. I don't think they would be happy with sixth seed. They don't want to be down at the bottom of the playoffs. I think they want to be hosting that first round of the playoffs next year.
Yeah, that would be amazing to host a first
Obviously,
round
anybody
series.
does, but I think the mindset here in Sacramento is that is the only way we have a successful season is hosting a playoff series here.
Yeah. And, if you want to call in and give your take on anything, the Team USA Sacramento Kings, it's 916-400-1513. Feel free to call in and, give us your takes. But as we move on, the Sacramento A's have a big announcement. They just released their schedule for the next year, and very excited to see how many games and how many great teams are coming to Sacramento next year.
Oh, yeah. Big fan of the A's, both of us, for a long time. So this is nothing but exciting for me. I hope they stay longer than what it's scheduled for. I hope they are a team here. But obviously, the Chicago Cubs being here for opening day, that's just historical right there. One of the most historical teams in the MLB coming to play in Sacramento. It's unreal for us.
It really is. And like you said, the Chicago Cubs, they're going to bring out a ton of fans. There's a lot of Cubs fans everywhere in every city. So I think especially these first few weeks in Sacramento, I think every game is going to be sold out. I think it's going to be a packed crowd. People are going to want to see some Major League Baseball here in their city. And
Sacramento is one of the biggest baseball cities in Northern California, I feel like.
Yeah, it really is. And it doesn't get the credit that it deserves for how many, people have made a name for themselves on the baseball end in Sacramento.
Yep.
Some other big games coming up on that Sacramento schedule next year are the opening day, like you said, versus the Chicago Cubs, which starts March 31st. Then we have the New York Mets coming to town. I know there's a lot of Mets fans here in Sacramento as well on April 11th. Then the biggest game, I think, of the year.
That's going to be insane.
That July 4th game against San Francisco Giants. Fireworks in the background. Hot summer day here in July in Sacramento.
I think it's going to be... This needs to be a nationally televised game across the whole U.S. just because, we don't... The NBA gets Christmas. Football gets Thanksgiving. NHL, I don't know what NHL gets, but MLB, we need 4th of July.
4th of July, that's a great take right there.
It needs to be a nationally televised holiday, pretty much. This is America's pastime.
Yeah.
It would be amazing if we could just get that kind of experience for the MLB, especially here in Sacramento.
It really would, and I think it's going to be an insane crowd on that July 4th game, that series, the A's and the Giants. It's going to be half orange and black, half green and yellow.
Unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be a Giants game.
I don't know. I think there's more A's fans here than we're giving ourselves credit for, and I think we'll probably
have
be
to
there.
place a bet on that.
Yeah,
we'll have to place a bet.
You're right though. There are more Giants fans, especially lately.
Lately, with the River Cats being the Giants affiliates, and then that year, I think that was back in a little bit after 2012, or when the A's and the Giants switched affiliates.
Yeah,
I could just tell it's just like there's way too many Giants fans for my liking.
Turning into a Giants town here in Sacramento.
No disrespect to the Giants. All respect.
No disrespect at all.
I'm an A's fan, though.
Yeah. We'll put on for the A's, and I think Sacramento is going to end up loving having this team here.
Definitely.
Also, huge games on this schedule. We have May 9th, the Yankees come to Sacramento. We have Aaron Judge, who's actually Sacramento native. He's born in Sacramento.
Went to where did he go to college?
Fresno
State.
Aaron Judge,
went to Fresno State.
So Sacramento native, probably top 3 players in the MLB right now. Yeah. And then also, the legendary Boston Red Sox come to town in Sacramento on September 8th. They're going to be playing at Sutter Health Field. I miss it being called Rayleigh Field, though. I still
call it Rayleigh Field.
Yeah, same here.
It's Rayleigh Field. It's any real Sacramento, and it's Rayleigh Field.
Yeah.
But no, that's going to be a packed house. 14,000 people, packed house, and then everybody's just going to be waiting outside, too. There's going to be tailgates going. People are going to allow tailgates, but we're doing tailgates.
Yeah, I think Sacramento is ready for this Major League Baseball team. And also, not to mention, the A's have been playing decent baseball lately.
They've been picking it up lately. They are still at the bottom of the AL West, which,
don't have any expectations for them, making a run.
Exactly.
But it is good to see these young guys start to play well.
You see Brent Rooker, and we'll talk about Lawrence Butler in a little bit. Both of them going off right now. Brent Rooker is almost leading the league in OPS.
Yeah.
He's a top 3 player, I think. Wasn't selected to All-Star game.
Crazy.
His batting average is going crazy. He's hitting. He has more than 25 home runs, I think, right now.
Yeah.
So, there's still a lot of disrespect going to the A's just because we are a poverty franchise.
Yeah.
But, there's just a lot of young, bright stars that are coming. Hopefully they hold on to them.
Yeah, I do hope they do hold on to them, like you said. I hope guys like Brent Rooker and Lawrence Butler and all these guys don't get moved before they come to Sacramento. And the MLB trade deadline is coming up, and Brent Rooker is one of the biggest names out there. I saw a stat last night after the A's game. In the last 2 years, he is 4th in the home runs in the AL in that span.
Gosh.
So he had 30 last year. He's got 25 right now. He's only behind 3 players that are all in the MVP race right now. So you got to keep him.
Not to mention Shaylin Glears, who's one of the best catchers in the league, defensively. And then we have probably the best closer in the league, Mason Miller.
Yeah, a lot of people that I talk to about baseball they've all said Mason Miller is already the best reliever in all of baseball.
Yeah, reliever. He throws his average velocity is near 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Just throwing that normally, people won't be ready for anything to come.
Yeah, I think the A's have something brewing, and if their owners can finally buy in and build around this young talent, I think in a year or two we could be making a playoff run.
I just hope John Fisher isn't owning it when they're here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Vivek, come on, Vivek.
Vivek, take over.
That would
Vivek. Be the best thing for Major League Baseball and the Sacramento A's, which I hope they end up calling them. But like we said, Lawrence Butler has been tearing the cover off the baseball. He just won Player of the Week.
Player of the Week.
And that is the first time an A's player's won Player of the Week all year.
There we go.
Their manager, Mark Kotze, was talking about how if he can keep this up, he's going to end up winning Player of the Month for July.
Oh, yeah.
And He got sent down to the minors earlier this year.
That was when, obviously the whole A's controversy to sell the team. That was just a petty move from the whole establishment. They're just like, we got to put our star players down. We don't want anybody to follow us. Let's make them all hate us.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just a petty move from the owners right there. And now he's back up on top for the A's.
Yeah, and Oakland A's old player Eric Burns, who loves Sacramento, he actually had a clip yesterday on the podcast he has with Will Clark, and I'm going to play it right now for you guys.
A's go to Sacramento. Stadium gets built in Las Vegas. A's spend 4 years in Sacramento. They sell out every single fucking game. Sacramento and the A's go, look, we obviously have a good thing going here. They build up a season ticket list. They get that season ticket list of like 30,000 in the city of Sacramento, right? Like, theoretically, if we had a season ticket list, would you be on it? 30,000 people say yes. They then take Rayleigh Field. They do a whole renovation on Rayleigh Field. They make it a 30,000-seat stadium. A's stay in Sac. Las Vegas then gets the expansion team in the new stadium that's built. That's what I am predicting will happen. When they announce this shit, we're going to go back to this fucking show.
Got it.
All right.
Pardon the French there.
Yeah, pardon the French. Sorry, Eric Burns is getting hyped up. And, I'm getting hyped up too. We need to keep the A's in Sacramento.
We need to keep the A's.
And, I think everyone in Sacramento is going to love having a baseball team here. And a lot of the pushback has been the heat. They're playing on a turf field. I don't think that matters.
It won't matter.
I think if you start the games a little later, maybe start the games at 7:30 in the summer instead of 7 o'clock, it won't be 110 degrees. That sunset will be coming down. That delta breeze from the river.
Delta breeze there. And then, obviously, that turf field is an easy fix. There's no way they're going to be playing on turf field the whole time. If the MLB team is here, I don't think the whole Players Association is going to allow that. They're going to probably complain quite a bit and get that switched up.
Yeah, and what's wrong with the turf field, though? I don't think the Toronto Blue Jays have a turf field.
It's not just,
The ball comes on you quicker. It comes hotter.
On you quicker, yeah.
Some people are saying the A's need to build an indoor stadium, which I think is kind of crazy. I don't think that they need to build a dome type stadium.
In Vegas, they would definitely have to have it.
In Sacramento, though.
In Sacramento, no.
Yeah. No, I don't think they need to do that at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall. The A's are going to end up staying in Sacramento, and, everyone in Sacramento is going to love it. How much, I
don't see a lot of progress in Vegas. I don't see a lot of things happening. So,
Vegas doesn't want them.
Yeah, the whole city, people don't want the A's.
They don't care. They won't go to the games. They won't sell out.
There's Raiders game haven't had a home game.
Yeah.
And every year that they've been there, there hasn't been a single home game for the Raiders. It's always been away games.
Yeah.
And I think it would be the same thing for the A's. Mm-hmm. It would just be visiting fans.
Yeah,
gambling.
Like you said, the fans and all that. Yeah. But what's better than going to a baseball game at sunset with your family,
Exactly.
And I think everyone in Sacramento is going to end up loving it.
Sacramento's that cool skyline right in the background.
Yeah.
I feel like Sacramento could, make a cool baseball stadium right there on the river.
Yeah, and
it'd be sick.
You mentioned it earlier, Sacramento is a baseball town.
It is a baseball town.
It really is a baseball town. And an example of something like the Dodgers aren't coming here next year, but they play the A's every other year.
So they'll be there the year after.
So for Dodgers fans, there's a ton, you don't have to go to SF and deal with all that, BS from Giants fans like we've seen over the years where stupid stuff happens. That's not going to happen to you in Sacramento. You can just go 5 miles down the road and go to Rayleigh Field or whatever it's called.
It's a new rivalry for us.
Yeah.
New rivalry.
So, and some MLB legends that have actually come from Sacramento. Dusty Baker, who went to the same high school as me, Del Campo, who's now a world champion manager.
Shows up to my stepmom's bar, Torch Club, every once in a while.
Shout out Torch Club. Yep, Dusty Baker. He's the man. He's just such a cool dude, and he's well known in all MLB. He's a legend. Mm-hmm. He could be going to the Hall of Fame for coaching, or he's going to be in.
No, he's going to be up there.
Yeah, and someone who I actually got a chance to meet when I was very younger, went to his baseball camp here in Sacramento, was Greg Vaughn, who has almost 400 home runs in his MLB career. He's putting on for Sacramento as well.
That's a name you kind of forget a little bit, and then you see almost hits 4 home runs. That's pretty much automatic Hall of Fame right there.
He was a stud, and I remember going to his camp when I was a little kid, and there was it was over 100 people. So Sacramento is a baseball city.
And then right now dominating over not dominating too much, but Logan Webb, all-star. Went to Rockland High, right up the hill. Got to give respect to Sacramento, but up in Rockland,
Yeah, that's still Sacramento. And he loves the Kings. He loves Sacramento, and he's also someone that's saying that
Shouts out
Sacramento would be a great city for a Major League Baseball team. Also, some guys in the A's system that are from Sacramento are Tyler Soderstrom, who's a stud catcher in the A's system. He's actually in the majors right now, playing a little bit of first base as well with Shea Langoliers. Yeah, I really like his game. And also Daniel Susac, who is, if you remember, Andrew Susac's younger brother. He's actually in the A's minor league system as well as a catcher. So a lot of guys in the A's system that are from Sacramento.
And I mean, they would probably be super happy to come back here and play in their hometown. MLB in their hometown, that would be pretty crazy. They wouldn't expect it. Just like they're growing up, they're just like, oh, I want to play for the Yankees. I want to play for the A's. I want to play for the Red Sox. Never would have thought they were going to be like, I want to play for the Sacramento A's. Yeah,
and now look, Sacramento is really getting a major league team. And if you told me and you that when we were 5-10 years ago, we would have been like, we would have not believed it, and it would have been too good to be true. Because we wanted to go to every Oakland A's game back when they actually wanted to win. And, hopefully moving to Sacramento, like we said, they keep their young guys, and they actually put a team out there that can win. Because right now, I think they have the pieces to do it. Definitely.
Hopefully it's not one of those years where we kind of build this team, we get back into the wild card like in 2 years, 3 years, and then year after that, everybody's gone. So, I hope it's not like that where, they build the stadium, they get really good here in Sacramento, and then by the time they're super good, they move, and then they trade all the players, and then they're back down in the dumps. I feel like that would happen if they moved to Vegas.
Yeah, like you said. And like Eric Burns said earlier, he thinks that a ton of people are going to be coming to these games here in Sacramento. They're going to build up a season ticket list. And then there's no way you can move out of Sacramento if you have, like he said, 30,000 people on the season ticket list.
No. And then it would keep sports all around here in Sacramento. You got NBA pretty much the other half of the season, then MLB going on now. And then there's soccer going on too. They're going to get a new stadium just in downtown in a few years. So there's going to be 3 major league sports teams playing within 2 miles of each other in downtown Sacramento.
And downtown Sacramento has really become a very poppin' place to be. It's really fun to be around now, especially I've noticed I just turned 21, so I don't know how it was before that, but since the Kings have been good.
It's definitely, it's only been a growing city. Ever since 2007, 2010, I've seen it as a kid, just growing just sports-wise, food-wise, culture-wise, everything. People are coming to Sacramento. I don't like it too much, but I do love it at the same time.
Yeah.
I like to keep the small town vibe, but adding this team to the city, getting the USL team to downtown, it makes me so happy to see Sacramento becoming the city that it kind of deserves.
I know, me too. And, leaving away for college and coming back, I was really excited to come back to Sacramento because I honestly missed it. I always thought I wanted to get away from Sacramento and, be in a beach town, be as far away from Sacramento as I could. But going away and feeling that, cities are not the same as Sacramento. I don't feel the love anywhere else that I feel here in Sacramento.
No, definitely. And I think every player that would come here and play would feel that love too.
Yeah, I agree. And, great restaurants, like you said, just a ton of big things in Sacramento that can lure. Huge. We can't listen to somebody like Gilbert Arenas, who's probably never even been to Sacramento besides to play against the Kings. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Your name is Gilbert.
Your name is Gilbert. Stop talking on Sacramento. But just before we go, another MLB player that's from Sacramento is Rhys Hoskins, who's one of the best first basemen in baseball. Played for the Phillies a few years ago, now on the Milwaukee Brewers. So, ton of guys. I could keep going with this list.
Ton of talent.
Could keep going. But anything else on the A's, what's the new stadium going to be called? Is there a name yet, or is it still in progress?
I have for here in Sacramento?
For the Sac Republic.
Oh, Sac Republic. Yeah. Nah, I don't know what the Sac Republic Stadium was going to be called. It was going to be an MLS stadium, but then our supporter backed out. So then they had to come up with a whole new a whole new plan. But I think in the next at least 2 years, 3 years, they're going to have another stadium just just in the rail yards north of downtown.
All right. Well, Sacramento's popping, and this will conclude this episode of Beam City Sports. This is Tyler Texeira here with Luke Mitchell.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you guys for listening. Next week, we're going to go over NBA teams and where they are at with their youth. So, teams like the LA Clippers are going to be pretty low on there. The Lakers are going to be pretty low.
Lakers going to be low.
And you're going to see some young teams at the top.
Definitely.
So, thanks for listening, and please tune back in next week and have a good one.
Appreciate you guys. You guys have a good day.